Hello guys. Welcome to my channel, your Tempest Federation. In our previous episode, we have seen the main conference started. If you have not watched the previous episode, I will put a link in the description below. To quick warning, this video contains spoilers from a light novel. But before we proceed further, please like, subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell for further updates. In this video, we will see the next topics of the main conference. Now without further delay, let's proceed further. It's just as I thought. Next time before you go public, could you at least give me a heads up and discuss it with me a bit? Gazel, looking worn out, gave me this rather straightforward bit of advice. To us, the projector's value was that it was a convenient and irreplaceable invention for entertainment. But to the eyes of the kings and nobles of the Western nations, it was an entirely different case. This thing has way too many applications, to the point that they're uncountable. At least to the crowd at the scene, everyone could tell its value, Gazel said unpleasantly. I just thought that it would be great to have a large screen to watch the expanded footage of the martial tournament and the labyrinth interior. And the people loved it too. But the device had given the officials of different nations quite a cultural shock, it seemed. With something like that, it would change the whole concept of war, Gazel's friend Pan said. Dor-sen also nodded in agreement. They said that an immediate application would be in the military. One huge advantage was that they could now command the army from a safe distance. The officials of the army no longer had to risk themselves in any dangerous situation. Instead, they could send out scout troops to check on the enemy's status and quickly gain feedback to apply to their own army. As opposed to the one-to-one magic communication, this method would enable many times more volume of intelligence transfer. Everyone could share the same batch of information, and the accuracy of command would be greatly improved. We published the technology at random, and it could already be called ultra-futuristic. It seemed to be a revolutionary technology. I was only thinking it'll be good to have something like this and ordered people to construct the device. Yet it turned out that we made something incredible. I muttered unconsciously that you should have told me this earlier, but I was met with Gazel's stare and scolding. That was my line. I am reflecting now, but that's not the point of this meeting. Not everything in this world will go according to our heart's content. But you must require a high level of magicule to operate the machine. If the mana of the user isn't high enough, it won't work. The distance and quantity of the intelligence transfer also depends on the user's ability. It's not that simple to apply it universally. I managed to cover my tail with this explanation. I had actually made improvements regarding these drawbacks by developing a system to store magicule. But it would be wise to save these words for later discussions with Gazel in private. Anyhow, just don't publish something that can be suspected to be of military usage so casually. You're the only one who wants to use it for entertainment, Gazel told me, baffled. And when I thought it was over, it was Ilmesia's turn to cut in. I can actually purchase similar inventions in the future. I heard that there's something called a patent in your world, right? I'm willing to pay the necessary price to purchase the rights for your invention, and grant me the privilege to use it first. Ah, then L-chan, please get this nation's bathing technology as well. I got it, Elin. My negotiation with Yoshida-san has also gone well. You have to drop by my place more often in the future. That's for sure. I didn't even get the chance to respond before Elin cut in to add to the mess. Ilmesia also agreed happily. The two were sitting together like close siblings. This was the emperor, who Elin was facing, so at the end of the day, even if they were related by blood, this attitude was still way too casual. On the other hand, I saw Elalud. Her father's expression changed drastically as he began to shout in panic. Elin, what are you doing, Your Majesty? Even though she's my daughter, please don't spoil Elin. Also, Elin, you can't just call Her Majesty the Emperor L-chan. Elalud, why do you talk so much? Seriously, Dad's always so dramatic. I had a feeling that when these two got mixed together, things may get dangerous. I suddenly felt bad for Elalud. Elin and Ilmesia also shared a surprisingly good chemistry. You can't fake a friendship like that. They were really close to each other, going so far as to give high fives. I couldn't feel their difference in status at all. Even the aristocrats of the Western nations couldn't approach her. To most, Emperor Ilmesia Elarsarian was indeed such an elusive top figure. Yet the sight in front of my eyes was really hard to imagine. Even the members of the Emperor's Imperial Knight standing behind Ilmesia looked surprised at the scene. Members of the Magus. What you saw is the equivalent of a national secret. You must not leak this information. Although Elalud came out to give closure, there's no saying as to how effective it was. Omija, on the other hand, paid no mind to what Elalud or anyone else said. She was gonna speak her mind regardless. Given this to be the case, I hope that you will send researchers to our kingdom. Of course, it will be considered an official employment. We will be paying the proper fee for instructing tech research. In other words, will you be in charge of finding the labor as well? About that, I do want to do that. But if you are afraid of a possible leak of your core technology, we can also export the necessary instruments to address the issue. In that way, there will be a need to transport components made in our nation. To respond to Omija's request, many conditions had to be satisfied first. For instance, the plumbing required for facilities relying on water, such as a kitchen, bathroom, or toilet, were all the product of dwarven technology contributed by Cajun and the other dwarves. I wasn't sure whether technicians from Sarian could recreate them or not, but it would also take too much time for them to learn the technology from scratch. With that being the case, it would be faster for us to export the domestically produced machine parts directly to Sarian. Since you are sending the parts, I hope you will be using that thing called a train. I will be providing funds for that as well. Can you finish developing it faster? Omija said, seemingly having seen through my thoughts already. Gazelle has a skill that can read minds, but does Omija have one as well? So far there's no sign of that, but I better not get careless. Regardless of that, her proposal is still worth considering. We still have yet to develop the train itself. That's why, if any scientists or experts in magic from your nation are willing to offer assistance, it will certainly help speed things up. Of course we will. Elalud. Yes, ma'am. I'm on it right now. Elalud was as loyal to Omija as it gets. He didn't look like a nobleman of high authority, instead he seemed more like a conveniently placed errand boy. Seeing how Elalud was behaving, Gazelle turned to him with a sympathetic look. Gazelle had also previously mentioned that he couldn't raise his head before Omija either. Surely, he related a lot to Elalud. And as such, Emperor Omija of the Sorcerer's Dynasty Sarian was willing to personally provide assistance to us. Sooner or later we would be signing a research agreement and begin research cooperation officially. On one hand, we had Sarian with its pride of magic science, and on the other hand, we have the spirit engineering developed in Dworgen. It wouldn't be long before the dream of uniting the land was accomplished. As for the surmounters sent by Ruminas, we considered also letting them join based on the circumstances. We would have to wait to see what kind of people they were. However, they may actually come up with some interesting ideas, nonetheless. That's truly reassuring, Omija-san. Now that our research program has been settled, surely our magic train will be on its way soon. Ho, is its name Magic Train? Yes, it is installed with a motor using spirits, the spirit magic core, and manipulated using magic spells that would be implemented by magic science. Isn't it perfect? As if it's that easy. How interesting. How very interesting. I really hope you make it real soon. Gazelle was calling me overly optimistic, but he said so with a smile on his face, confident in my future success. It seems that he won't be giving me life advice anytime soon. Omija's reaction on the other hand was like a child discovering a new toy. Her eyes were sparkling. It left a big impression on me, as it drew a very deep contrast with the gloomy face on Elalud. Anyhow, there's bound to be a lot of progress from now on. Let's lay down the tracks to Sarian first. We can build it alongside the road construction. It will save us time as well. Since our country was leading the charge, it was easy to standardize things. Laying down the tracks wouldn't be throwing up any issues. I responded based on these considerations. Hold on. I have a question about the tunnel proposed by Benimaru-sama in the past. Is it really needed in the future? An unexpected question from an unexpected person. It was Momiji. She asked us whether the tunnel was necessary. Does it mean that she's willing to let us dig through their mountain? If it's possible, I hope to dig tunnels in the future. First, we will set up a checkpoint in Bloomend, and then go through Farminas until we reach the west gate of Armored Kingdom Dworgen. Based on that, in order for people to be able to move south from Bloomend, we are expected to lay tracks to the streets of the Sorcerer's Dynasty Sarian. It is hard enough to get the rights to use the land in Western Kingdoms already. We will also run a lot of losses by taking the long route around the mountains. But if this is something you dislike, then I wouldn't pursue the project any further. I see. Then I will trust Rimuru-sama's words. If you guarantee not to cause any harm to the Holy Mountain, I may consider giving you permission to dig this tunnel. Really? Yes, however, I have one condition. I hope that you can send Benimaru-sama as the person in charge, Momiji said while blushing. It went without saying that I was an understanding man. Benimaru-kun, hold on. Rimuru-sama, are you selling me out? Don't put it that way. Geld is handling some major cases now. If anyone's better at leadership than him, it would be you. Geld nodded in agreement to my words. In contrast, Benimaru looks shocked. There's no way I can handle it. To begin with, I don't even have any relevant knowledge about construction work. Oh yeah, I guess he has a point. I see, so it really can't be. I was thinking about sacrificing Benimaru to get this thing over with. It would seem that life just doesn't always go my way. I wasn't planning for Benimaru to stay out for too long to begin with. This deal couldn't be done from the get-go. That's it for today, guys. See you next one. For further more update, please like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to push notification bell.